The Concorde supersonic jet back home on the Intrepid Museum after a big restoration project. CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge live on the west side with more. Hi, Natalie.
Hey, Chris, what a journey, and you traveled with us. We are back on solid ground, but you don't want to see me. You want to see the star of the show. Here she is, the Concorde. She is also back on display here, looking all shiny and new after undergoing a restoration at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. She's got a paint job, a full makeover, and has now returned here to Pier 86 to the Intrepid Museum, her home since 2003. And you can see we've got some staff, excited spectators also here to welcome her back. Now, our journey started early this morning. At 6 this morning, we boarded a barge with a 300-foot crane that traveled alongside another barge that was carrying this supersonic jet. We chugged very slowly up the Hudson. It took us about 3 hours to get here on that barge, which is pretty wild because that is the same amount of time that it took the Concorde to fly from London to New York. The Concorde was once the fastest commercial aircraft in the world. It flew more than twice the speed of sound. And she was flying from 1976 to 2003. And this morning, we actually got to meet the very pilot who flew this exact supersonic jet, setting a record that was back in 1996, New York to London, in 2 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Here's what he had to say.
The takeoff was always very exciting. The acceleration was a constant acceleration, so it got faster. Well, it accelerated as it accelerated. So it was always like a push in the back as you took off. The takeoff speeds were much higher than a regular aeroplane. We get in the air around about 250 miles an hour and accelerate up to 280 initially.
It's really so great. She was in need of restoration, there's no doubt. She had the most beautiful facelift. That was amazing. And we really hear from the public how much she is missed.
I mean, it's a legendary passage of flight. So, and also, we're so lucky to have the Intrepid here on the west side.
I'm fascinated with the Concorde. We used to think it was a thing of the future, and now, of course, it's a thing of the past.
So unfortunately, aviation experts tell us this fleet of Concordes were retired in 2003. There was that very tragic crash. Experts say the weariness of passengers to fly after that, combined with many other factors. The fleet needed an overhaul, and also the ticket prices were so expensive. It was about $7,000 back in 1976, which if you adjust for inflation, the museum, the Intrepid Museum, says would be about $38,000 now. So at the time, it attracted many celebrities, rock stars, royals, and guess what? It also included members of Chris Reggi's British family members. Chris, it is so cool that your mom got to fly on this supersonic jet. I wish we would have had a chance to get a spin, but you know what? Second best to be out here today to see this. Chris, back to you in the newsroom.
I want to know how my mom and stepfather were able to afford it. That's the bigger story. All right, thank you so much, Natalie. We appreciate it. It is good to see that bird with a facelift in its rightful spot right now. Always good to see it on the west side. Natalie, thank you. Good reporting all morning long.